Ladies and gentlemen, this 25th October 2025 was a day extremely catastrophic for the coast of Ivory Coast. It must be said that the protesters acted. They really did acted. Although it should be noted that it did not take on the scale that the organizers have wanted it to take, but it leaves glimpse some really very days difficult. Yes, difficult days for Ivory Coast. We do not wish it, really not. We want the coast Ivory Coast still knows peace. Since what Ivory Coast has experienced in the past, we do not want the Ivory Coast falls back into the same situation. But what happened is very serious, I tell you. So first of all, it must be said that in several cities, as we had to mention it in the video conference previous, there are protesters went out to go and ransack polling stations despite the police and the gendarmerie were massively mobilized. But the other side, it must be said that let's learn. For the moment, still from sources, other sources who confirm this to us, but according to a media outlet, Ivorian, the infodrome, hey, I think that's the impodrome. According to this Ivorian media, on the Théa side, Saleh, on the Agboville side, the CEI building would be set on fire. Yet we know that in Yamoussoukro, since October 20th, the building of the CEI was set on fire. This time, is it the same? Building they are talking about since Tisale is 120 kilometers away. So they are two different cities far apart. Does this site give us a true information? Whatever happens, I do not confirm. I do not deny information. But already, it must be said that the Ivorian sites, which are truly accredited to the National Press Authority, cannot normally afford to talking nonsense. So beyond that, even from this aspect in the sector itself, in the Prime Minister's stronghold, there is had a total mess too, which saw the day on this side. Yes, there was a total mess. Like, you can see it in the picture. The young people came out, even though they weren't also very numerous, but they have did their best to respect the word order that was given. It must be said that monitoring cells are preparing for obviously continue the protest because the slogan is no to the fourth mandate, and some are beginning to announce slogans that it is now that the real things let's begin. So, ladies and gentlemen, as part of this conference, Geopolitics, dedicated to current events global, it is from this news that we're going to talk. Before we continue, agree to share the conference at maximum to secure it. Put lots of likes and don't forget, if you are new, please click on the subscribe button. Subscribe. This allows you to no longer miss world news. So let's go into the depths. Let's go deep. So, several sectors experience disorder, even if in terms of percentage, the percentage is less in terms of places which were ransacked. It must be said that the police and the gendarmerie played a very big role, huh? There you go. And to give even if fired with live ammunition. It is why at the moment we count two people who are at the apple for a so-called peaceful election, a peaceful election. Would normally not have had any cases of death. May their souls rest in peace already. So in the locality of Songon, at the Prime Minister in the sectors of Gebo 1, Gebo 2, Nkango, Bago, the ballot boxes were burned by these young people that you see there. The urns were burned at the day before. The next day, the populations opposed the replacement of the material. There was no vote in his locality. It happened like this again in other localities where they prevented people from voting. To return to Tisale, Agboville, you know that Agoville and Yamoussoukro are illustrate protest against the fourth mandate in Agbaville. It seems we are learning, that there was no vote. So overall, the protesters have tried anyway, not well, but badly, of ransacking polling stations and so on. It should be remembered that these actions that they have posed, these are planned acts and punished by law. It must be said. Here, all those who entered these demonstrations have entered there with risks. That's why even some communicators said, make sure not to present your faces, since if the storm passes behind will be very serious. There will be many arrests. That was on one side. On the other side, it must be said that the National Press Authority does not. The Ivorian authorities are still angry, are not at all angry with this media Abidjan.net, which broadcast the results even before the results come out. I tell you, it traumatized them diet of. So that the IEC, the Commission Independent Electoral Commission, which filed a complaint through his lawyer, Master Bakayoko, the CU filed a complaint against the site. Automatically, we have the authority National Press, which took hold of the case, which took up the matter itself on the basis of Articles 31 of the Press Law, Article 2 of the Code Ethics of Journalism in Côte d'Ivoire, Ivory Coast, on the basis of Article 39 of the Electoral Code on 30, on the basis of Article 9 of Decision Number 004, ANP 2027, 5 of October 2, 2025. They ruled from 10 a.m. It was at 10:30 GMT. They have ruled 10H from 10H to 12:30. They have ruled on the situation of this media. And after all, they arrived at the conclusion that this publication of fictitious results, that's what they call it, fictitious results, is clearly nature to disturb. The serenity of the electoral process obviously bring the organization of the election. And so, inconsequently, the ANP Council has decided to suspend immediately Abidjan.net Honest for a duration of 26 days. So you already see they are suspended for a period of 26 days. You then understand that they were in collaboration because the penalty is too minor in relation to the seriousness of the fault. A mistake committed according to them, which discredits the process electoral. Such a serious mistake who disturbs public order as they said it clearly, and we suspend simply Abidjan.net for a period of 26 days. There you go. That's it, sanctioned. I still expected us to suspend. People think like that and then ultimately protect the media. That's all. And so, young ladies and gentlemen, here is the front page of news from the Ivory Coast. We continue to follow the presidential election in Ivory Coast, and then everything that will come from it all information. We will come back to talk about it here.